Röyksopp, Senior.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, and yeah, it's album review time. A couple things I want to mention before we get into the review. On the needledrop.com is the playlist to the blog TV that we had last week. All the songs that I played, not necessarily in the correct order, but all the songs that I recall playing. Link down there in the D-box. Also on our website, the label Bad Panda Records is celebrating their 1-year anniversary, and they're doing it with a free compilation. Lots of instrumental music, experimental music, pop as well. Just lots of interesting stuff. I like that website a lot because they just feature stuff that to me is kind of a breath of fresh air in the blog sphere. A lot of strange stuff, a lot of overlooked stuff that is very interesting. And finally, I guess I have to explain this. I had an eye appointment today. I had an eye examination, and my pupils right now are dilated. Everything is a little fuzzy, a little blurry, and stuff just feels a little weirder, a little brighter if I take these off, and plus my pupils look weird. So please let me keep the glasses on. I just want to have them on, please. Thank you. Röyksopp is a Norwegian electronic duo, and this is their 4th album, Senior. These guys are pretty popular. They're known around the world. I shouldn't have to explain exactly who they are, every single little detail. You guys got the internet, but if you are a fan, or if you have only heard a few tracks from these guys, I think it's pretty apparent that on this album they are not going to be going back to their 2001 album Melody AM and trying to recapture that cohesive down-tempo aesthetic. And there's also no way an album titled Senior is going to sound anything like its predecessor, Junior. I think that's pretty much implied. Now, Junior developed upon a lot of electronic vocal pop sounds that Röyksopp experimented with on The Understanding. By comparison, Senior is entirely instrumental, a lot less beat-heavy, more linear, less hook-oriented, less catchy, and most people who jumped on these guys with the Junior bandwagon would say that is to a fault. And that sentiment rang pretty loudly in most of the reviews that I read as well, just saying, oh, it's not as immediate as Junior. Wah! However, I can't say I'm a huge fan of this album either, but it's really got nothing to do with it being less upbeat than its predecessor. In fact, I'd say in some respects this thing is a lot better than Junior. The production is more interesting, there's more contrast, there's more sound, there's more texture, from dusty old drum machines to fat analog synthesizers, and it all adds up in some pretty impressive instrumentals. Like the Alcoholic has this fantastic set of arpeggios on it that sound really quirky, really kind of unique, and the track Senior Living just has these really weary keyboards, this really weary guitar that just sounded so post-rock to me. And the track The Fear sounds like some kind of collaboration between John Carpenter and Vangelis on a futuristic sci-fi horror movie. But it seems like for every memorable moment there is an equally forgettable one, like The Drug or Tricky 2 have this really repetitive, linear feel that I like, but don't feel distinct or engaging enough for me to really praise them all that heavily. I think it's great that Röyksopp put out this record, and if you've been a fan of them since Melody AM, I don't see why you can't follow them here. I think this record proves that they have a lot of artistic integrity, that they have a lot of adventure left in them, and that they can produce an experimental record as easily as they can produce a pop record. The problem for me is that when it comes to whatever you want to call it, experimental electronica, ambient electronica, just adventurous electronica, this just doesn't stick out enough for me, especially considering how much I've been able to partake in this year, from Caribou to Fortet to Panther du Prince to Luke Abbott to Brian Eno. Those albums bark up a tree that is very similar to the one that this is, and because of that, because to me those albums are barking louder, this thing kind of falls into the gray for me. It's not groundbreaking by any sense, but it is nice to know that Röyksopp can do this type of stuff with a lot of artistic vision if they wish to. I'm feeling a strong 5 to a light 6 on this. It's by no means an awful record. No part of it really offended me. Just didn't stick out to me enough is all. And I'm sure the diehards are going nuts for this thing, just like I said, but, you know, I'm just not one of them. What do you want me to say? Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think I should review next. And, Röyksopp, Senior, forever.